The long-standing mystery of Oak Island has taken a breathtaking turn in 2025. For more than 2 centuries, explorers have searched beneath its soil, chasing legends of buried treasure, secret vaults, and ancient symbols. But this year, something truly extraordinary happened. In the new 2025 season, Rick and Marty Lagina stood silently at the edge of the pit, eyes fixed downward. For a moment, there were no words, no excitement, only disbelief. What the team saw below the ground has made many believe that the secret of Oak Island might finally be revealed. The faint reflection of metal, the strange formation of circular stone walls, and the tension in the air created the feeling that history was about to change. It began with the start of a new excavation season filled with determination and preparation unlike anything before. Rick and Marty had learned from years of failed digs and half-found tunnels. This time they arrived with upgraded machinery, stronger drills, advanced sonar technology, and 3D scanning systems capable of mapping every inch below the surface. The team was ready for anything. They believed they were closer than ever to finding the real treasure, the one hidden in the heart of the island since the late 1700s. The Canadian government had also taken notice. Officials sent archaeologists and historians to monitor every find. Every piece of wood, every stone, every strange symbol was logged and reported. It was no longer just a television show. It had become an official excavation watched by experts around the world. The Oak Island mystery started in 1795 when a young boy named Daniel McGinnis noticed an odd depression in the ground. Near the hollow stood an old tree with a branch shaped like a pulley, as if something heavy had once been lowered or lifted there. Curiosity took hold, and Daniel, along with 2 friends, began to dig. They soon discovered layers of wooden planks placed every 10 feet, each one carefully sealed, as though someone had deliberately hidden something deep underground. Word spread fast, and what began as a boy's curiosity turned into one of the longest treasure hunts in history. Over the years, dozens of teams have come and gone, spending fortunes, risking lives, and even dying in pursuit of what locals call the money pit. The legend says that 7 people must die before the treasure is found. So far, 6 have already lost their lives. That curse has hung over every expedition, like a dark shadow. Despite the danger, people have kept digging, convinced that what lies below could change history. Some believe the Knights Templar hid their sacred relics here after fleeing Europe. Others think it might be connected to the Freemasons, who were known for building secret chambers filled with symbols and hidden meanings. There are even those who suggest that ancient biblical artifacts, perhaps even the Ark of the Covenant, might be buried here. The 2025 season's biggest shock came when the camera captured the inside of the pit for just a few seconds. In that short glimpse, viewers saw something gleaming, something metallic and smooth, unlike any natural formation. Rick's reaction said it all. He stared silently into the pit, his expression unreadable. Marty, usually quick to speak, was equally stunned. Within minutes, excavation was paused and the team called in experts. The shiny surface appeared to be part of a larger structure, a vault or sealed chamber built centuries ago. Surrounding it were circular stone walls designed in a pattern that matched medieval European architecture, especially that of the Knights Templar. As news of the footage spread, social media exploded. Reddit and YouTube were flooded with theories and frame-by-frame analyses. Some claimed to see the faint reflection of gold. Others thought it looked like the corner of a buried chest. Posts with titles like "Templar Treasure Found" and "Real Gold on Oak Island" began trending overnight. But while fans debated online, Rick and Marty were facing a far more serious question on the ground. Had they really found what they'd been searching for, or was this another illusion buried by time and nature? The technology used this season set a new standard for treasure hunting. The team employed subsurface mapping and advanced sonar scans to see what lay beneath before digging. In those images, they discovered a rectangular shape, perfectly symmetrical, completely unlike natural rock. Magnetic scanners also picked up strong interference, suggesting large quantities of metal below. That confirmed their suspicion. It wasn't just soil and stone, it was man-made. The readings grew stronger as they got closer, until finally the equipment began to glitch, overwhelmed by the signals from below. The team believed they were hovering directly over a sealed chamber. When Rick saw the scan, his face changed. Normally calm and steady, he was silent for a long time before saying, "If this is real, this could be our biggest discovery." Marty's excitement, however, was mixed with caution. He knew one wrong move could destroy what lay beneath. He ordered an immediate halt to drilling until experts could analyze the data. In a private meeting, the team reviewed every scan and report. Everyone agreed. The object underground wasn't natural. It was built, sealed, and possibly filled with something of immense value. Rick added, "What we find here might not just be treasure, it could be history itself." Soon after, rumors began circulating online that the production team had hidden some of the real footage. Some claimed that certain frames were blurred or cut from the final episode. In one viral Reddit post, a viewer slowed the footage down and claimed to see a metallic corner reflecting light, edited out a moment later. Other users pointed out that Rick and Marty's tone had changed after the episode aired. Rick, usually open with updates, had started giving short, cautious answers. Marty, too, avoided details, often replying, "Let's wait for the results." This fueled speculation that they had found something so significant it was being kept secret under a non-disclosure agreement. Some crew members were even rumored to have been suspended for leaking details from the set. Whether true or not, one thing became clear. Something big was being hidden beneath Oak Island, and it wasn't just soil. Experts around the world began weighing in. Some historians argued that the sonar scans showed signs of an ancient man-made system of tunnels, possibly a drainage network designed to protect the treasure. Others believed the architecture in the scans resembled Templar design, complete with curved walls and geometric symmetry. If that were true, it could mean the treasure wasn't merely gold. It might include religious relics, manuscripts, or lost symbols from medieval Europe. Dr. Neil Peterson, a well-known historian, stated in an interview that if what they found is real, this will rewrite history. That one line spread across the internet like wildfire. Inside the Oak Island camp, tension was rising. The team prepared a new excavation plan using precision drilling and targeted blasting, designed to reach the suspected vault without damaging its structure. Special drilling fluids would protect fragile materials, and tiny cameras would be lowered into the shafts to capture live footage. Rick reminded everyone to be cautious, saying, "We are very close, but this is where we must be most careful." Marty agreed, insisting on safety first. The excitement was mixed with fear. What if the vault was booby-trapped, as legend suggested? During the dig, strange things began happening. Gas detectors suddenly activated, warning about possible toxic fumes. 2 crew members fell ill, one dizzy and one struggling to breathe. Experts suggested underground gases or even low oxygen levels could be to blame. Some readings hinted at trace radiation, sparking rumors that the vault could contain ancient materials or even radioactive relics. Rick halted the excavation immediately, saying the team's safety came before any discovery. But the eerie atmosphere made everyone uneasy. Old legends spoke of a curse protecting the treasure, and many began to wonder if that curse was still at work. Meanwhile, government officials intensified their involvement. Because of the artifacts and strange symbols being unearthed, the Canadian government's Heritage Department placed strict regulations on the dig. No item could leave the site without approval, and all discoveries had to be catalogued. This led to many to speculate that if something truly valuable was found, it might be declared national property, ending the private excavation altogether. Rick and Marty said they would cooperate fully, emphasizing that their mission had always been about discovery, not ownership. Still, fans worried that the government's presence meant the world might never learn the full truth of what was found. In the later episodes, the Freemason and Templar theories gained new fuel. A stone slab uncovered in the 2025 season bore mysterious carvings, triangles, X marks, and a clear symbol resembling the Freemason square and compass. The slab was buried deeper than most previous finds, suggesting it had been hidden intentionally. Alongside it, the team found fragments of parchment with faded writing. Experts believed it could be centuries old, possibly connected to the lost documents of the Freemasons or Templar maps. Rick and Marty began to realize they weren't just digging for gold, they were uncovering a hidden chapter of history. The deeper they dug, the more questions arose. Was Oak Island used by secret societies to protect powerful relics? Were the layers of booby traps and tunnels built not just to hide treasure, but to keep people away from dangerous knowledge? Old maps of the area even use names associated with Freemason lodges, phrases like Vault of Light and Solomon's Gate. These names weren't one would give to a mere treasure site. They suggested something sacred or forbidden. As the team pressed on, the island seemed to fight back. Strange equipment failures, unexpected flooding, and unexplainable magnetic disturbances slowed progress. One night, sensors picked up a sudden energy spike from underground. Some crew members described hearing faint sounds, metallic echoes, as if something was shifting deep below. It was enough to unsettle even the most seasoned workers. Rick later admitted it felt like the island was alive. But despite the danger, their determination.
Historians now believe that Oak Island may hold more than treasure. It might contain the remnants of a lost civilization or religious order. Some researchers think that the architecture of the vault and the placement of symbols across the island align with ancient European codes of sacred geometry, suggesting that Oak Island could have been a secret sanctuary built to protect something the world wasn't ready to find. For Rick and Marty, the journey has become personal. They've spent years, money, and effort chasing what many called a myth. But now, standing on the edge of discovery, they can feel that the truth is close. Whether it's gold, ancient relics, or something even more mysterious, Oak Island is finally ready to speak. The island has tested every explorer, demanded patience, and punished greed. But it may finally reward those who seek knowledge. As the sun sets on another season, the site is quiet again. Machines are covered, tools are packed away, and the team walks off with a mixture of exhaustion and hope. Somewhere beneath that soil, behind layers of wood, stone, and metal, lies the answer to one of history's greatest mysteries. The next time the drills begin to turn, the world may finally learn what Oak Island has been guarding for over 200 years. The 2025 discovery has reignited faith in the search, not only for Rick and Marty, but for every person who has ever dreamed of uncovering the past. Whether the treasure is a chest of gold or the knowledge of ancient orders, its value cannot be measured. What Oak Island holds could redefine history, belief, and the limits of human curiosity. Until the next dig begins, the island keeps its silence. But the clues are there. The shiny reflection, the carved stone, the mysterious symbols, the strange energy underground. They all whisper the same message. The truth is close. For those who believe in mysteries, Oak Island remains the ultimate test of patience and faith. And now, after centuries of searching, it feels like the wait is almost over. As the Oak Island team lowers their new drilling rig into the freshly marked borehole near the garden shaft, the tension is thick in the air. The sound of the drill chewing through centuries of stone and clay echoes across the island. Each rotation feels heavier than the last because this time the readings from the new ground-penetrating radar didn't just hint at wood or metal. They revealed what looked like a man-made vault roughly 175 feet below. Rick Lagina, standing by the monikers, stares at the data feed with quiet disbelief. After decades of chasing rumors, deciphering codes, and enduring countless dead ends, he's looking at something that finally matches the legends. And unlike the false leads of the past, this one sits right along the line of the original Money Pit coordinates. The crew works in silence, each man lost in thought. Marty, the more analytical of the Lagina brothers, breaks the silence to remind everyone of the risks. "Remember what happened last time we hit that pressure pocket," he says, referring to the near collapse they narrowly avoided during an earlier dig. But even as he speaks, his eyes are fixed on the core samples being pulled up from the ground. The first few layers are typical, a mix of clay, gravel, and iron pyrite. But at 160 feet, the drill suddenly begins to rattle. The sound changes pitch. The crew exchanges glances and Rick signals to shut it down. When they extract the next sample, the core barrel gleams faintly in the sunlight. Embedded in the sediment are what look like tiny flecks of gold. No one breathes for several seconds. Gary Drankton, the team's metal detection expert, leans closer, his voice hushed but electric. "That's not just gold dust, mate. That's leafing. Someone hammered that flat. Human hands did that." It's a small discovery, but one that sends ripples through the entire operation. For centuries, Oak Island has teased treasure hunters with whispers of pirate gold, Templar relics, and lost royal fortunes. But if this truly is crafted gold, it's the first real evidence that something valuable and deliberately hidden lies deeper. They resume drilling slowly, cautious but driven. The next few feet yield more fragments, bits of oak wood that appear to have been sawn cleanly, not fractured by pressure. That means structure. Rick feels the hairs on his arms rise as he examines the darkened wood. It's waterlogged, ancient, and it smells faintly of tar. Could this be part of the original flood tunnel system, or a protective barrier meant to guard whatever lies beneath? The team doesn't say it out loud, but they're all thinking the same thing. If this shaft is part of the Templar vault theory, they might finally be within reach of the treasure that's eluded everyone for over 200 years. As the sun sets behind the trees, casting long shadows over the excavation site, they pause operations for the night. Rick lingers behind, unable to walk away. He stares down into the dark borehole, a chill crawling up his spine. Every major discovery on Oak Island has come with a cost: floods, collapses, even death. And deep down, he knows the legend of the island's curse. 7 men must die before the treasure is found. 6 have already been lost over the years. The question hangs heavy in the air. Who might be the 7th? The following morning, a low mist rolls over Oak Island, turning the excavation site into something that feels halfway between a dream and a legend. The team arrives before sunrise, coffee in hand, eyes heavy but spirits high. They've called in additional technical support, specialists from Nova Scotia University who brought advanced fiber-optic cameras capable of descending narrow boreholes. The goal? Lower the camera into the shaft and finally see what lies beneath those last 15 feet. The camera feed flickers to life, showing rough stone walls slick with moisture. Tiny droplets catch the light like stars as the lens moves lower, inch by inch. Everyone crowds around the monitor. It's quiet, except for the soft hum of machinery. Then suddenly, the walls widen into what appears to be a small chamber. The light bounces off something metallic, irregular, and partially covered in silt. At first, it looks like a pile of debris, but then the lens catches a deliberate pattern carved into the rock face, a cross, nearly identical to the one associated with the Knights Templar. Marty mutters under his breath, "That can't be." But Gary shakes his head. "It can, mate. It bloody can." They take screenshots, marking the time code, comparing it to historical sketches found in Templar documents. The semblance is uncanny. And right beside the carving, the camera picks up something even stranger, a circular indentation, perfectly symmetrical, like a seal or a capstone meant to conceal a compartment. Rick's voice cracks slightly as he whispers, "That's man-made. Someone built that." They spend hours analyzing the footage frame by frame. The cross, the markings, the faint glimmer of gold-like reflections, it's all there. But before they can plan the next phase of drilling, a deep rumble shakes the ground. The machinery vibrates, alarms go off, and the borehole begins to hiss. Water pressure. The same flooding mechanism that sabotaged treasure hunters for 2 centuries has reactivated. Workers scramble to secure the pumps, shouting over the roar of rushing water. Within minutes, the newly opened shaft is filled to the brim. When the chaos subsides, silence returns. An eerie, mocking silence. The island has swallowed their progress again. Rick stands motionless, jaw tight. He's seen this before. Every time they get close, something happens. Flood tunnels, cave-ins, unexplained malfunctions. It's as if the island itself refuses to give up its secrets. But this time, they have data, they have imagery, and they have proof of man-made construction deep underground. That's enough to keep them moving forward. Later that night, back in the war room, the team reviews historical maps spread across the table. Marty points out an overlooked detail, a series of triangular markers carved into the island's bedrock, aligned perfectly with celestial coordinates from the 1400s. The pattern mirrors the layout of the Templar cathedrals in Europe. It's a chilling realization. What if Oak Island was never just a place to hide gold, but a coded map, a spiritual vault preserving relics that had to be kept from the hands of kings and empires? Jack Begley, Rick's nephew, studies one of the maps closely. If this geometry's right, he says, tracing his finger along the lines, then the vault we found could be the entrance, not the destination. The room falls silent again. For the first time in years, they're considering the possibility that the money pit isn't where the treasure is buried, but where the protection begins. The storm that rolled in overnight has turned the island into a maze of fog and mud. Still, by dawn, the crew is back at it. They refuse to let the flood setbacks slow them down. Armed with new pumping systems and reinforced casing, they reopen the site near the garden shaft and prepare to sink a secondary borehole, this one angled toward the area where the underground chamber was detected. It's a delicate move. One mistake and they could collapse the very structure they're trying to reach. Rick double-checks the coordinates while Marty keeps an eye on the pressure gauges. Gary Drayton, restless as always, wanders off toward the southern edge of the island with his detector. The machine beeps faintly, then louder, then sharply. He kneels, brushes away the dirt, and freezes. Beneath the roots of an old oak tree lies a fragment of metal, small, corroded, but unmistakably shaped by human hands. He calls the team over, excitement breaking the early morning silence. When they clean the piece, the symbol etched into it becomes clear. A cross pate, the same design linked to the Templar Knights. It's not a coincidence. This discovery confirms that the carvings inside the vault are part of a deliberate network, a series of markers that have survived storms,